people. So I just want to talk to you about me creating a vision for my clothing brand, because I feel like if you begin to create a vision of what you want to do in your clothing brand or any other thing, such as another business or job, then you have to have a vision. A vision is so important because with a vision, it keeps you focused on the end goal, and it keeps you motivated in doing the things that you need to do to achieve that. So essentially what I tend to do in terms of creating a vision for my clothing brand is I write out things of what I want my clothing brand to be doing within the next 5 years. So for example, have its own warehouse within the next 2-3 years, have a fashion week in the next 10 years, start shipping orders out within the next year or so. These are little things that I start writing down as I'm creating my vision. And then what I tend to do is I tend to spend about 5 to 10 or even 50 minutes each day meditating on that vision. So what I tend to do is I begin to visualize that thing that I want for my clothing brand to achieve in my mind, in my imagination. I begin to focus on it, see it happening already, and then once I've done meditating, I'll go out during the day and attack that. When I mean attack that, I mean working towards that goal. But you have to see it before you can achieve it. Now, I believe in manifestation so much. I believe in people having a vision. I believe in people seeing the outcome before it's already arrived. And that's what I tend to do the majority of the day. I envision a lot of, I visualize a lot of customers buying my products. I visualize me hiring staff to help me run the business. I visualize my clothing brand hosting its own fashion week. I visualize my clothing brand owning its own warehouse. I visualize myself having an office for my clothing brand. I visualize myself collaborating with other influencers and hire people within the industry. So I visualize a lot of things, and I feel like it's so important, because it's like, if you can't visualize, if you can't see it, how are you going to achieve it? You know what I'm trying to say? Now, for example, I want to give this a great example. So, for example, right, if you're going to build a building, what is it that you do? You think about how you want the building to be. You start designing it. And then what you do, you tend to plan of how long is it going to take for the building to be built. Bearing in mind, the building hasn't been built yet, but you thought about it. You now design the building, and then you now start your plan. Okay, how long is this building going to take? It's the same thing with a car. If you want to design a car, what do? You think about the car. You think about how you want the car to look, what color it wants to be, the engine size, etc., etc. Then you start sketching it out. And then once you start sketching out, then you decide, okay, how much is it going to cost to build this car? How much is it going to take to build a car? And then once you've done that, you should now start working on it. It's the same thing with a business. For example, if you want to start a clothing brand business, you think about what the name you want to have with it, the name you want to associate the clothing brand to be, the type of products you want to sell, and who's your target audience. And then you start writing it down, writing how long you want the clothing brand to get to a certain level. For some reason, the video just cut there. But yeah, you got to just talk about, where you want the clothing brand to be, start thinking about it, start designing it, so you just got to just visualize, just continue to visualize. And, if you really truly believe in your vision, nothing can stop you from achieving it. It doesn't matter how many setbacks you're going to get along the way, nothing will stop you from achieving that vision, that goal, if you really, really, truly believe in the vision that you've set out for your clothing brand or any sort of business that you're trying to do. So my advice for people that are, starting a clothing brand or starting a business, begin to visualize it. See it in your head, see it happening already, write it down, and then work towards it. You have to see it before you can achieve it and accomplish it. Because if you don't, it's not going to work. Because if you think about it, you've got to see it like this. Everything that happened or that's been designed in this world has come through the mind. So that shows you how powerful the mind is. So master the mind, master visualization, and you can achieve it. Because I already know Maison Aurelius is going to be one of the best top clothing brands within the next few years. Why? Because I've already seen it and I've imagined it for myself and I believe in it. So you start believing in what you can do and master the power of visualization.